What's up, world? Welcome to the Remix Morning Show with your host and sole participant, Jared Ball. What's up, world? Greetings, remixers. Come on in, like, share, subscribe. Let folks know you in the building. And exactly. Yes. Yes, one of us got the buttons right so far. Uh But that said, I will hold it down. I don't care. And then it depends. It depends. Either folks show up and we do a morning show, or I can just move the show I was going to do at 11 o'clock later, move it up a little bit, or some combination thereof. Uh, but I know Erica laced us with a run sheet, and there are things happening, and there are a couple things that I wanted to mention too. So what I will do is I'll take the opportunity. I've been thinking and listening to and receiving some of the criticism that keeps coming in around the whole exchange with, or the really one-sided exchange with RBN. And I just wanted to say one thing very quickly about that, and then I'll say another thing if Kim gets here, or maybe I'll just wait till next week. But the lane I just wanted to sort of walk in briefly as it regards that is, wow, I thought I had it together. The short of it is, I guess the short of it really is that as I've acknowledged before, I think when we're in these public spaces and trying to do uh, work, certain political work, and engage these public spaces politically, I do try to engage for the most part as either a professor, or as I would in the classroom, or as a comrade in an activist space. And that said, in that sense, I mean, in the positive sense, there is a performance here that when I come on here, this is not, obviously it's the case for everybody. This is not all that I am as a person or personality, or my personality. Uh, but I am trying to uphold a certain, to be honest. I'm trying to be honest. I'm trying to be have fun, and trying to maintain a certain politics and a certain responsibility. So, and I have been thinking that some of the public engagement in these spaces on my part does need to change, in the sense that I still have some of that old radio style of engagement. And I also have, I think, a naive sense of what I think response to criticism or jokes is, has been, or should be, and that I'm not on the same page with folks. So if I make a lighthearted joke, or if I offered up, as I did with RBN over a period of time, light criticism based on an analysis, on a politics, I would not have expected the response to be, at least what I've heard it has been. Again, I have not watched, and I will not watch, but uh, at the same time, so that's it. So that's it. So, and then not knowing everybody, not knowing people, and not knowing many of the people who comment and respond in the chat, or on the videos. I don't know, and I often get the sense that this is not the case, but I don't know to what extent people are engaging in good faith. So I am considering how what adjustments to make and how I can better engage these spaces. Because the goal is not to, I certainly I don't like certainly having my name drug like that and having people call me out and speak to me that kind of way. Uh, and I don't want to encourage that within Black spaces, particularly Black spaces that are claiming to be of some sort of politic. So I would not have responded in that way. And then I went back and even thought about something Kim said in sort of challenging and raising a question as to whether I had ever responded that way in the past, in my own youth. And I have not. And I went back and even posted the other day the debate we had with Amiri Baraka, just as one example. There were plenty of exchanges, debates. I'll even say this. Within the four-person ownership of BPM, there was a moment a year or so ago where I made a mistake. I did something that regret is maybe too strong a word. It's I don't want to first of all, I don't want to I don't want to go too far with it, but I did something that I was wrong for doing and apologize for. And at one point, Kamau and I got into it, and it started in text. And he was saying, Jared, what you did is wrong. And I was like, no, it's not. And it got heated. And then there was a miscommunication in text where I thought things were being escalated. So, but to the point I'm getting at, and again, that's why I don't mind sharing this little bit of the story. Kamau and I got on the phone. And because there was enough prior respect and experience, and I think a mutual approach in general to these spaces, we had a conversation. And I'm not trying to paint a picture that it was high fives and pounds and all of that. It was a heated exchange, but it never crossed any of these lines. I don't even think any foul language was used at all, certainly not in directed at anyone. No one was calling each other out of their name. Because the point was, and I think I don't speak for him, but I think certainly for me, the goal was one, as I said, there was already an existing level of respect, which to my point the other day, if my interpretation, if someone goes at me in this way, as was done apparently, there couldn't have been any prior respect either for me personally and an insufficient prior respect for the work that we're supposed to be doing. And that's why and that's why Kamau and I and the rest of we were able to overcome that. I apologized to everybody individually, and we moved on. So I would just say this to the extent that anyone who carries messages or anyone who watches both platforms or communicates with them, I would just encourage that obviously I'm not the one to do it, but both in terms of I'm not interested in engaging people who have spoken to me in that way, but or about me in that way. But to the extent that others find their work of value, and apparently some do, I would suggest that some discussion be had with them about how they engage these public spaces, what their goals are, they intend to build, with whom they intend to build. And think maybe try to, in the moment that they feel offended or hurt or angry, take a step back and think for a moment about what their goals are, more broadly speaking. Because this kind of public engagement, and Kamal, you can come on up. I was just rambling. And good morning. I
Good
was just
morning.
saying if I and I'll wrap here, but I was just simply saying that I wanted to come on this morning, and I've been thinking a little bit about this RBN thing, and I just wanted to come with a message of sorts of, to the extent I'm playing the older activist, seasoned, whatever it's supposed to be, whatever we were said, the I would encourage them to think about how they engage, what their goals are, what the value of that kind of caustic, hostile language is in these public spaces, even if there is disagreement. And then come out, I don't know what you heard, but I shared a little bit about the exchange, the heated exchange you and I had about a year ago over the error I made with our platform. And I was sharing the point that I was getting at was that because I felt like, speaking for myself, there was enough prior respect, mutual respect between us, even though we had heated exchange. I mean, we had words. It never went to it never went, because the point was, the intent was we wanted to continue to work together. And then I think more importantly, we had a broader respect for the movement, the struggle, the politics we're supposed to be representing. So that's all I wanted to encourage for them. Like, they don't have to, like, I get what they feel about me, and that's fine. But to whatever the extent I've made an error, I would encourage them to just say, look, when other errors are made by people like me and others that they're going to come across as they stay in this struggle, that they find other ways of responding and engaging that disagreement, because so that, I guess that was just
what brought that on? What brought you? Were you thinking
I just
about
been
it?
thinking, well, I keep getting, I mean, I read the comments, people have been, I mean, even friends, like people, because people, like, they see this first of all, they see the me on this cover, this thing, and they're like, what's up? And it's just been, so I just been thinking about it, and oddly, and then I wanted to transition to something. I want to share a clip in a second, because watching Fred Moten on Millennials Are Killing Capitalism last night was yesterday had the effect, I'll admit it had an effect of a microdose for me. It was like a political microdose. And Coco, if you're ready, you can come on. I see, I know, welcome. What's up? Good morning. But so I'm not mad at anybody. So I should have made that clear even from the beginning. Like, and it's weird because I'm not this person. I have reached a level of calm that I've only dreamt about. I kind of, just watching that discussion yesterday, I got refocused. I kind of got a little bit and then I was thinking about, like, all the jokes about the age, all the jokes about, all this other stuff. Even my daughter, are you 50 or 5? Like, who are you beefing with on YouTube? Like, what is this? Like, all that. And I was like, what am I doing here? Like, aside, so I do want to have fun and, joke and all that kind of stuff. But there has always been a clear political purpose on my part, and I think the rest of us, about how we wanted. The only reason we did this and put this thing together was to engage YouTube and public work differently. So again, if I've contributed, to the extent I contribute, that's not if, to the extent I contributed to this, I do apologize. Not maybe specifically just to them, but to the broader struggle, to the public sphere that I've wanted to be a part of. Because I don't want to. So I do need to think about, and I want to think about, because the criticism I was offering, I think, is legit. What they're upset about, I'm still not wrong on. What Danny Haifong was apparently saying in the chat and all that stuff about me, I'm not wrong about the criticism, but I do want to rethink how, I don't know, I do want to rethink how I engage what I think are principled criticisms of others in these spaces, because I don't want this. So anyway, I'll stop there. Let me stop there. I don't know if we don't have to stay here. We can keep going. I just was.
Oh, no. Go ahead, Jack. Go ahead, Coco. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, I think sometimes people get confused. What is criticism, right? And what is not criticism, right? So what I saw, because I watched some of what they did, right? And it was levels of disrespect that is different than criticism, right? When you say, I have a criticism of that, the way you work, who you work with, how you engage with certain things, especially when it comes down to when we claim to be organizers, when we claim to be, you know, for liberation, and there's contradictions that exist. And when you raise those contradictions, when you raise that criticism, and I think that the difference is, you know, is it principled criticism or is it not principled criticism? I mean, maybe that could be discussed, right? But I think that when you take it to levels of disrespect and you call people out their names, that's not criticism, right? And so I think that there is a major difference in the approach to how they responded and reacted. And I felt that it was very reactionary. And so I do think that there has to be some type of, you know, reflection. I think reflection is important on both sides, I think, you know, of Black Power Media and RBN. I think there has to be some type of reflection. So, you know, I think, Jared, you making these points this morning, I appreciate it. Because I think it is important, especially as a platform, right? Like, we have to also reflect on how we engage other people, like you said, in public spaces. And I think that that's important too. You know, and I have concern only because I'm invested in BPM. I'm not like just here. You know, I'm not just somebody who's in the chat. You know, I have like a serious investment in the platform. And I don't care if people don't like Black Power Media in the way that I've seen in those comments, and, you know, Europeans who have a lot to say, and this is not their space. You know, this is not their space to have any type of criticism because it's not for them. Period. Right? Like, you could join the space, but it's not for you. And so, like, I don't care about their criticisms. But I do think that there is an important, I think it is important to have this conversation in a principled way. And Jared, thank you for, bringing this up and, reflecting. And I think it is important. So I'm gonna yield there.
All right on. I appreciate it. And thanks again for saving us yesterday too.
Thank you so much.
No.
Well, here's my first apology. My first apology is to the audience. Yeah. So I have a new computer. We'll see how well that's working, but it's a new computer.
So far, so good.
Kamal's computer before was bad.
Yeah, it's sitting right here. It's sitting right here. Just a lot of stuff I have to get off of it before I throw it away. But I was just given a task and a responsibility, and I thought I could meet it. And I think even my casualness, because I jumped on like at 7:55 anyway, thinking everything was going to be good, and then it was just the opposite. And so I feel really bad and responsible for making people struggle through the show yesterday, and that's a very sincere apology. I think I didn't even make our later meeting because I was just like my headspace was just like, what the hell, and then you try 5 or 6 times to reload and get back on. The worst thing is that it doesn't allow me to talk trash about other people because I look so bad. So that alone made me go back out and sort of buy the computer on the spot so that I can be back in my position of power so I could talk bad about other people. So,
that's exactly what I told him at the Apple store when I went shopping last year. I was like, I got to be able to talk my shit, and I can't be lagging like this. Nah. Anyway,
but as far as RBN, it's I must not have a lot of friends because except for 2 Black who reached out really early in it. I haven't gotten a lot of feedback from it or whatever in terms of.
No, your friends just aren't on social media like that. That's all.
Yeah, that's probably true too. The little that I keep around these days. But yeah, I mean, on one end, I do, and this is actually from talking to 2 Black. I understand some levels of them may be feeling a certain way, maybe based on, in particular, someone saying something about them using, using the Fred Hampton thing or whatever. But I also stand by the fact that there's ways in which you approach it, and the ways in which they did approach it was at level 10 and name calling. And so for me, and again, my first reaction was like, oh, just chill, or like, man, you lost your mind, or blah, blah, blah. Like, I deal with it later, and then, he just kept on with the, oh, now you've lost your chance. And it's like, so just, so I just ignored him and I sent the stuff to y'all. And you could see halfway I was like laughing because I was just like, yo, this shit is hilarious. Look at these dudes or whatever. Because again, if someone's that angry with me, then usually like in my younger days, it's like, oh, you just want to fight. Like I'm not of the culture of people running to go tell on social media how upset they are at something that I supposedly did, particularly when I don't know you. So there's a level of it to me that's just outside my realm of understanding of like, I'm so mad at you that my first reaction is to make a video about it. And that's just a generational thing or whatever like that. But two, this sort of the thing that you were talking about earlier, for like, there is a sense of even if I think they are maybe they're relatively, in my estimation, new in this space. Never heard of them before. Doesn't mean much that I did not, but I know a lot of the folks who worked in Black liberation organizing spaces. So that was just like a weird thing. It's like, okay, who are these cats kind of thing. But they did, but I do think, to their credit, that they did reach out to us several times to try to get meetings and all that kind of stuff. They came on our platform, we came on their platform. So I do, in some ways, retrospect to like, if time allowed or whatever, we could have been more, we should have been more.
But they weren't reaching out to build around disagreement.
No, they're reaching out to build, period.
Yeah.
They reached
so
out
we
to
did
build,
though, and that's why I'm
yeah.
saying, like, even with the criticisms that I had when they got banned and were invited on here, they were welcome. It wasn't, and I wasn't going to use that as an opportunity to be like, yo, we got disagree. Like I didn't.
My only thing is that maybe we or I should have built more relationship wise. I don't know.
Okay.
That's just like a thinking or whatever. It's not even a huge point, but maybe, but I just think the reaction was such that it's hard to, I mean, you can't come back. It's not like anybody exchanged gunfire or whatever. So there's ways to come back from it, but it's kind of like, I don't know if I trust the emotional state of somebody who goes or groups who go from 0 to 100 and then it's like, oh, this can all be worked out. It's like, well, I'm not sure. Like, and I'm cool with like, I'm cool with just going as things are. I don't mind having a conversation either at some point, but there's a little bit of an emotional trust issue of like I've never met you, and you and even there was I really don't always remember her name, Savvy or whatever. I was like smiling in your face and all that kind of stuff, and people saying that. So it's Kim said like she was the maddest I've ever seen her. I was like, that's it. That's the maddest. That's what gets you to mad, whatever. So that's the kind of thing. Is this weird, in terms of like the little time I spent thinking about it when I think about it. That's all I got.
I feel like there's enough room in this struggle. We don't have to work. I'm good. I wish them well and good luck. So okay, you ready to slap the map? Should we slap the map? I didn't slap it. I can slap.
No, but you can. You know how?
I can. Yes,
you
I
know
do.
How? I interrupted yesterday to put it up.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Remix Morning Show. Kamal Franklin, Jared Ball, Coco was here. Peace, everybody. I mentioned this. I want to shout them out. If we can, I'd just like to play a quick clip from that I grabbed from the Millennials Are Killing Capitalism discussion with Fred Moten yesterday. And it is weird. I did feel like this. I was sitting in my car office, parking lot office, in between classes, watching the joint. And I just hit a level of calm, that good revolutionary calm. So this is just a little snippet of get you a little vibe of what was being said. Well, there we go. Hold on, let me start this over. Here we go.
You're trying to radicalize what it is we do in the classroom and embracing that as an experimental space, right? So that when a crisis emerges, when an intensification of the brutalities of genocide and coloniality, when those things emerge in ways that require that we pay attention to them, even though they extend a long ass history, it better prepares us to respond in the attention that we pay, right? We should have already been working on this shit, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Because these motherfuckers are killing people in fucked up ways all over the place every day.
Yeah.
Okay. And we should be working against that shit every day. Okay. That's not to lessen or to reduce the intensity of the current brutality. It's in fact to better prepare us for the intensity of the next brutality, because the motherfuckers are working on that right now. Okay.
So that's just a little clip. I had honestly, I've read a little bit of Moten's work. It's above my head. It's above my intellectual pay grade. And I've listened to him sparingly, but that was the most I've really actually sat and listened and paid attention. There was something about his cadence, the tone of his voice, the way Jared, and shout out to my comrade in saving that name. Like the way he engaged, there's something about there was something, the vibe of it. I was just somehow militantly relaxed. Like it was that it is kind of like the few times, I've not been there a lot, but the few times I've been in a fight where I was like, this is going to go well. Like I'm good. Like it was just all the chaos seemed to calm down for a minute. And it was just like, oh no, I got it. And it just felt like that. So I just wanted to share that little bit there. So I encourage people to check out that whole
What I
conversation.
like about it is the acknowledgement that we're in an ongoing struggle. Like, so there's these time periods where this thing bumps up, and where again, literally thousands of people are killed by the things that we as organizers talk about every day, which is Western imperialism and capitalism and colonialism. Like that's the standard. Like in most days, people are being killed and we just don't hear about it. Our own people are being killed and we just don't hear about it. Or we just, again, we approach it as that's the day-to-day way in which life takes place. We're going to continue to do our work, but it's at a level where it's not having the impact that we needed to have in order to be ready to either stop some of it from happening or to be able to be loud enough so it doesn't happen in the first place, or that be organized enough, have enough resources. So for me, in that brief segment of it, that's one of the lessons for me, is like there is, and then there's these, again, on the weird side of it is I have never seen so many people out for Palestine before. And in all the years that I've been an ally or have done any work on it, been at marches or demos myself, this is and it's obviously not the first time Gaza has been destroyed, the West Bank has been destroyed, and it's not the first time hundreds of Palestinians have been killed. But there seems to be some temporary breakthrough from media propaganda and Western talking points about what the struggle, like who is the villain, let's say, for lack of a better way to say the struggle. There seems to be a breaking of it. It doesn't mean that the governments have changed, right? Or the businesses have changed in terms of what they want to get done. But the fact you've had all over the world, literally marches with like tens of thousands of people, it's just for folks like all of us to figure out ways to grow that, to encompass that into our regular organizing. Again, like folks say, the mobilizing has to happen now because this is so stark in terms of what's happening. But at some point, it's got to be from the mobilizing to the organizing. Some of that will be for other people to do in terms of those who work directly on the Palestinian issue. But for all of us who work on these different organizational ways, I'm harking back to now Brother George about putting away our quarrels, right? So, but we got to take ourselves as seriously as the enemy takes us, because they take us very seriously.
It was weird yesterday in class. A student that I thought if I could just keep her from fully joining the CIA or NSA, it's a victory. Like if I could just get her down to the state police, maybe. Like if I could just, yeah, I was like, if I could just get her there, I might claim victory on this one, because I thought she was just from day one. It was like, but even yesterday in class, she raised her hand and said, Dr. Ball, please explain to me what is going on. Something like, how are they letting Israel go on with this genocide? And I was like, what? I thought for sure she was going to be like, you know, I told the president what you said last night, you know, but she was even, yeah, to your point. I mean, I've never, yeah. So there does seem to be a shift happening.
Yeah. Students at Howard walked out.
That's right.
Yeah.
And in response, Major League Soccer banned all displays of all national flags because too many people were showing up with Palestinian flags. So they said, now nobody can bring a flag. Now, you know, I'm almost tempted to go to the next DC United game just to see, because you know what the Keeblers are going to be doing with their flags come game time. I cannot believe they're not going to wave that American flag when they get in there. I don't believe that for a second. So what happens if you sneak a little Palestine? You just whoop, whoop. So
what are they going to do? Arrest the 10,000 people who come to their game? They're going to walk
I mean,
around and try to take flags out of people's hands?
I don't know.
I can see it.
They might, but the flip side is there's a lot of liquored up folks in those spaces. Sorry, go ahead, Coco. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say police, you know, they get wild for no reason, you know, over something like that. I could see it. Just coming in trying to stomp people out just because they got a flag. You know.
Yeah. So anything else you want to get to? Anybody got a story they want us to?
I just want to say shout out to Millennials Are Killing Capitalism. I just found out recently that they had a YouTube, and I was like,
they just
this
started.
Is great.
Yeah. It just started.
No, it's great. I used to facilitate some and join some of their study groups. And so I really, you know, Jared is cool, and I really enjoy them. So that's what's up. And I read Moten and Harney with them, and that was like, my brain was hurting. I couldn't handle it, but yeah, that's what's up.
Right on. All right. Anything? So did you all, it didn't get crossed out. Did this get covered yesterday? Because you mentioned Howard, because something else happened. Covered,
but
okay, because something else happened at Howard yesterday too.
Oh, what happened?
Or the other day. When did this happen? Because Diddy showed up. Was this last week? I can't get to the Sean Diddy performs at Howard's homecoming. So this is reported 3 days ago, and donates $1 million to the school and to Jackson State University. All right. Oh, well, then all is forgiven. I guess that's it. That was it.
That was your full.
That was the full thing. That was it. That was
I guess
Diddy happened.
Diddy happened. With something. There's always something behind this money that gets given.
It's going to have a profound impact on our students, paving way for future leaders.
Yeah, right. There's an investment happening here.
Oh, he got the key to the university.
Oh, performances.
Right. Distraction is satisfaction. They probably was like, hey, let's get back to the music and entertainment, y'all. You have nothing to look at in the real world. Nothing to look at in the real world. It's
about ensuring HBCUs continue to receive the support they rightfully deserve. All right.
He was a business major there. Okay, that's why he was.
He famously never graduated from Howard.
Oh, okay.
And famously left. Well, he felt or was blamed at one point for at least one death at a concert years ago.
Oh yes, I remember that.
Isn't that right?
More than one.
More than
probably. Honestly, I don't remember.
It was the one in CUNY in New York. I can't remember which school. Somebody might
Oh, it
remember.
wasn't at Howard? I thought it was
It
at
was in
Howard.
New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was in
nah.
New York.
He
Mhm.
was producing a concert. It was like, and I don't want to name rappers who
It
were
was in the
there.
90s.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, but 6 or 7, it was like the crowd. Something happened. The crowd was rushing, and the pack it was overflowed in terms of the people who were let into the particular space. And something happened, and people started rushing out, and several people died because they were trampled to death.
Everyone's saying it's City College. I went to City
Yeah,
College.
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So no, they said it was more. It was several people, like one of several. And you know, for a while there was a running ghoulish joke that Diddy was the cause of several, you know, Biggie's death, other people's death. People like, you know, this dude continues to keep going. Shine being locked up and all that shit. Like people.
I just saw another video about people talk about all the death around him.
Yeah, yeah, and he keeps
Kim
going.
Porter,
So I was gonna leave that one out. That was that's
Andre
the wife, right?
Harrell. I don't remember. This was just on the list. I don't know what the relationship. This was just on the person's list, so I don't know.
I feel like he
what the
was
relationship
close
was with
to Kim
everybody.
Porter. Yeah, I feel like he was
baby
close to Kim
mama.
Porter. They were together, I think, when that
Okay.
happened. Yeah, she
And
definitely baby mama with the twins.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly wasn't sure, but yeah, they were just they had. But I told you I watched a video a couple months ago that had me convinced that what's her name? What's her name? Whose show got canceled recently? What's her name? The comedian who she came out on her TV show and then she had a talk show. Ellen.
Oh.
That Ellen was killing everybody. They had this video had me convinced that she was like just running everything. And
who died around Ellen? I don't even know that.
There was a whole bunch of this video had. I'm telling you, the video was convincing. So it was the DJ brother that worked with her. Then there was like a whole bunch of people like behind the scenes in her life that they said. I don't really know. I'm saying it was a well done video, and I just walked away, you know, because it was on YouTube, so it's got to be real.
It's got to be true.
It's got to be true, at least close.
I mean, Ellen. You know, I remember she had that show and she came out, and then suddenly everyone loves her. You know, and it's just that was like all the setup. Like it was just how her career.
But then they ended up.
She was never
her.
funny.
Yeah,
but they love her now.
Oh, I thought they hate
really
her now.
love
I don't
her.
know. Okay.
Oh,
no, her staff.
I thought they ended up hating her now.
Her staff came out and was like, all that fake niceness that y'all get, all that fake smile and the dancing at the beginning of the show. Behind the scenes, Ellen is a tyrant.
That's what I'm saying. That's why. That's what the video was saying. That's behind the scenes. She's out here. She's not just a tyrant. She's a boss.
She's mafia. She's mafia out here.
And I'm not surprised though. Hollywood is dangerous.
Yeah, man. Like over here, like Jimmy Fallon and Lizzo. Both of them apparently are just monsters.
Well, Lizzo, I don't think Lizzo gives that fake personality. Her, I can see. Going off and yelling at people, you know, where's my shit?
Well, she had that controversy, right? Recently, what she did?
Yeah,
she did
had
something.
The controversy where she was accused of fat shaming or body shaming somebody else or whatever like that.
And forcing her staff to engage in sex acts and stuff. Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
I didn't even know about that one. Okay.
Yeah, they went to like to a club or something, and they were being encouraged to engage with the dancers in very, you know, very Dwight Howard ways. I'm sorry. That's wrong. That's terrible. That's terrible. But yeah, because Dwight apparently, what is Dwight? What's up with Dwight? Come on, man. Everything, I don't like y'all. People got to be consensual. That's all I'm saying. It's got to be consensual. That's all. Anyway.
Damn. What was the other one? No, but Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah,
it might be because he comes off as so sort of Millie Mouth. He's like all humor, joke, snicker. Behind the scenes, it sounds like he'd be like.
But I just want to know where the roots are when Fallon is being gangster on set.
Counting their checks. That's what the roots are. The roots are like, look, our career, like, you know, we could be doing nostalgia shows. You know
Oh,
what I
that's
mean? On concert.
that's messed up.
We could be on concert on the road.
Nah, man. The Roots are not just nostalgia shows, man.
I'm just saying, man.
I don't
I'm
rock
just saying.
with Questlove and them politically and all. Everything off stage, I'm a little side eye with. But come on, man.
I'm just
Come
saying.
on, man.
All I'm saying is that they could be doing 80, like 90, no, 150 nights a year out on the road. Or they could be like having this gig of 4 days a week, literally banking millions a year.
So they just sit quietly when he's running amok on stage, screaming at people. I know he's not yelling at Tariq like that.
Well, exactly. He they black friend. They can just snicker off to the side and collect them checks. That's not they're not worried about the rest of that shit. It's like, as we getting our check, I gotta go on the road again.
Don't let me find out they actually afraid of Fallon. Don't let these. You never. I mean, I'm just saying. Ellen is a boss.
They don't have no power when it comes to these Europeans. They ain't got no power.
They ride it out for as long.
They still the same thing. Get that money.
But I'm saying Fallon might be. What if he was like pimp slapping people and just like really terrifying?
I'm sure he is. The white interns probably catching it.
Yeah.
No.
I'm sure.
The white interns are catching it.
They still got the light-skinned dude on piano. Is he still there repping the beige for us? What happened to him?
I don't know.
I know the brother, the original bassist, passed away.
As long as Black Thought and
Questlove, yeah,
that's it. Okay. Everybody else, I'm sorry, everybody else can be replaced.
I did used to show
it's an ensemble band.
I used to show my daughter the keyboardist from the Roots when she was starting to learn piano. And I was saying, because she's already way better than everything he has to play on these great beats. I was like, they're great beats, but they're very easy to play musically. I was like, that could be, she doesn't want to be a front person. She doesn't want to be a star. So I was like, you could just stand on the side and hit these 3 chords all night long and rock and get paid.
Yo, your boy Hiram coming. Fun fact, about live band shit was always coordinated.
Hiram, shame on you, man. That's messed up, man. That's terrible.
I'm just saying, it is an ensemble though. As long as Quest and Thought are there, everybody else can sort of leave in a huff and come back.
Who did Jimmy Fallon replace in that sphere of, what is it, nighttime? Was it Jay Leno?
Yeah. I think he took Leno's place.
Is that who? Okay. Is that the order? Okay.
Isn't it Carson to Leno? Actually, I go back. Steve Allen, if I'm not mistaken, to Carson or Jack Parr. Steve Allen, Jack Parr, Carson, Leno, maybe Fallon. Because they cut Dave Letterman out. He had to go to CBS and shit.
Hold up.
You just don't read, beloved.
Hiram, you can't go from wisdom like that to hating on live instrumentation. Come on, man. Terrible, man. From Connecticut to Brooklyn, it's just a mess out here. Shame. All right, okay.
I got a story.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to do a segue of ghouls. Speaking of ghouls.
Oh, wow.
From P. Diddy to your man, Joe Biden.
Nice.
So Biden says he has no confidence in Palestinian death count.
What
does that even mean?
Basically, he's saying the Palestinians are lying about how many Palestinians have been killed by the Israeli bombings. U.S. President Joe Biden said on Wednesday he has no confidence in the number that the Palestinians are using for the death toll, and what they put here in the Hamas-run Gaza Strip, where the health ministry says over 6,500 have been killed in Israeli attacks. Biden was asked at the White House conference whether the death count, which the ministry says includes some 2,700 children, meant Israel was ignoring U.S.'s appeal to reduce civilians' death in the bombardment of the coastal enclave. What they say to me is, this is his quote, I guess. What they say to me is, I have no notion that the Palestinians are telling the truth about how many people are killed. I'm sure innocents have been killed, and it's the price of waging war. So that's what Biden said in terms of his propaganda war against the Palestinians, that they're lying about their death count. And I think they had, let me see if I can pull this up too.
Oh, but he just said, I just want to clear, he just said he's sure that innocents will die in war, but he's just upset about the numbers. So in other words, we're going to stop with the nonsense about Palestinians killing innocents in Israel, right? Because it's a war.
Oh, no,
right?
no.
So that's to be expected.
That's
to
different.
a certain
No,
part, right?
Those are white lives. White lives matter. Let's keep it straight. You can't kill white people.
Sorry about that.
You cannot kill even white people can't kill white people. You cannot do that in war. You can only kill the designated brown people.
So they have the rules that I had in the household, because the rule in the household was nobody hits my children, including my children.
Yes, basically.
So that's the rule for in the white world. Nobody hits us, including us, especially not them.
Not the Russian ones, not the ones we consider barely white. Or the poor Eastern Europeans who
the off-whites
who usually work for, historically have been the back engine to Western capitalism, and then they keep trying to rise up and be equal to the Westerners. And it's like, no. There's levels to this shit. We just let the Jews in. And that's only because we put them in an outpost.
And they're on a clock.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we just moved them away from us onto somebody else's land. And so now we're good with them. So everybody else has got to have a pecking order or whatever. So I also wanted to play, this is a White House spokesman also giving his view on the civilians being killed and a ceasefire.
This is war. It is combat. It is bloody. It is ugly, and it's going to be messy. And innocent civilians are going to be hurt going forward. I wish I could tell you something different. I wish that wasn't going to happen, but it is going to happen, and that doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it dismissible. It doesn't mean that we aren't going to still express concerns about that and do everything we can to help the Israelis do everything they can to minimize it. But that's unfortunately the nature of conflict.
So the nature of conflict is Palestinians will just have to die because we're not calling for a ceasefire. So part of this is all around the recent call for, I guess when people are terming it a ceasefire, I'm always a little bit taken aback by certain language that suggests that this is a war of two nations. It is not a war with two nations, with militaries, with combat planes, with tanks and all that kind of stuff. This is an improvised guerrilla warfare versus a standing army. And so the fact that people are terming it ceasefire, though, is, I guess it's one way to try to get the bombing and the killing to stop. But the reaction by the U.S. and the West is that some Palestinians are going to have to die, and apparently not enough have so far, whatever the numbers are. The total destruction of Gaza, nope, not there yet.
So, but this is just them mowing the lawn, right? Isn't that the language that they're this is just another, maybe a full landscaping this time.
Yeah. Well, and maybe, and at least the claim is that they're going to go into Gaza on a ground war, but they've been delaying it. So partly, maybe from their sentiment is that they're going to do some more sort of lawn mowing or destruction of Gaza. Already 2/3 of all the housing or buildings in Gaza have been decimated. Again, the amount of so-called aid that's getting in, we're talking about over 2 million people, 10 to 12 trucks have come through in so-called aid, where again, no water, no electricity, no food is being allowed in except through this sort of narrow corridor that's being worked out for some things to come through. But that obviously is in no way able to reach the entire population. Hospitals are already saying that they are shutting down because they have no more fuel. And again, no electricity, generators are dead. And they specifically mentioned how newborns who are premature are at particular risk, as and obviously other people who need things that run on, who need power for these medical devices to run. So this is so we're coming to a point where it's obvious that the U.S. has already been giving cover, but they're giving not only the I think I phrased it as the not only the political cover or the cover of weapons, but the cover of words and propaganda. And that's full on. At the UN, they keep vetoing anything that calls for Israel to stop bombing Gaza. And again, this is not new. Historically, if you look at UN resolutions, the United States continually vetoed anything that criticized Israel. But again, in this way in which people are watching this and bringing this out, more people are getting to see it and understand how firmly the United States and Western Europe backs the settler colonial nation of Israel.
So I saw on Electronic Intifada the other day, they had an expert on to talk about this potential ground invasion. And again, this is way out of my expertise, but his analysis was that this would not go well for Israel. That, and to your point about the collapsed buildings, his argument was this ultimately benefits the tunnel fighting and the guerrilla fighters that exist, and should they get the assistance that's been said might come from Hezbollah, who are the even more well-seasoned, trained guerrilla fighters, Israel might not. They're like, this is not. His thing was, they would be better just doing what they're continuing to do, as opposed to because that's when they're going to see their death tolls go way up. So
well, that's the next shoe to drop, right? If Hezbollah, right now there's firing, I guess, on the northern border with Hezbollah and Israel, and the question and Islamic Jihad. So the question becomes whether or not that turns into a hotter space in terms of a second front or a place where if they, and I think Hezbollah has said or has alluded to that if they right now they're acting as a distraction in terms of trying to keep some Israeli troops busy so that there's not a full invasion. But I think there is some hints that whether or not that will actually happen, that if they fully invade, that Hezbollah will do more, right? And it's too bad. I mean, you got nations like Egypt and Lebanon and Jordan who have basically done nothing in terms of protecting Palestinian lives except offer words. Obviously, Saudi Arabia too, but the bordering nations have done nothing to protect Palestinian lives except offer words. And so that's part of the shame too, is that the Palestinians in their own region do not have a lot of friends. Shockingly, only, not shockingly, but in terms of the access of resistance, you're talking about Iran as probably one of the only nation state that's actually supporting the real resistance to colonialism, and all the other ones are busy behind the scenes striking deals with Israel in order to sort of welcome it or push aside the Palestinian issue. And so this again, people have speculated that part of the reason Hamas did this now was because they saw that all these nations were trying to put aside the larger struggle for liberation of Palestine and basically say, you know what, you guys, you're in this prison camp. It's good with us. Israel controls your entry and outro. And if you leave, a lot of times you can't come back. Your so-called Arab allies and brothers and sisters, Islamic comrades, they were good with it. It's like, no. We want them deals now with Israel. Only Iran has been a nation state that has supplied training and support other than words for the Palestinian struggle.
Wow.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that, it's always people are only going to get involved when they have some benefit. And I think that's always, the situation with a lot of these other nation states is like, they're only going to get involved when they have some benefit. I think even the US, right? The US has a track record of these like so-called human rights Are we and they only get involved in these so-called human rights issues when they have some benefit for it. And we see, like right now, they only benefit when Israel is in power, and so when if Israel, was to fall, which I can't wait to see that happen. Then all of a sudden we're going to hear about human rights issues and how they're going to be saving, Palestinians, and and that's the track record. All of these states are going to, constantly, support only when it's to the benefit. And I think it's really telling. It's a lot of work to be done, but you also see who your potential enemies really are, and
Someone mentioned in the chat
who you
real
can
quick.
really.
Oh, I'm sorry. Really
Go
quick.
ahead.
Someone mentioned in the chat real quick that it's Shiite versus Sunni, and it's like that's not even true, because Hamas is
Mm.
Sunni, right? And
Mm.
and most of the surrounding nations around Hamas are also Sunni Muslims, and they still have not come to their aid in the way Iran has. But I'm sorry, Coco.
No, I just think, we have to, recognize that there is going to be that, like who are, like, even myself as a nationalist, right? Somebody who's thinking in terms of like, what does it mean to develop international solidarity? You're going to see like, these are the same issues that potentially we will have, or we do have, right? Like who's actually supporting, New African Black resistance here in the United States? Like who's actually coming to support and aid us? People typically ignore our struggles here, right? And so like, because they don't see our struggles as real struggles, because we're here in the United States, and so therefore we must be good. But you have all these fake UN reports going out saying, oh, there's genocide, and the police, but nothing ever happens. There's nobody's willing to step up against these, the United States, because they don't have any benefit. Like what are New Africans going to do? We don't have any type of resources, power. We can't trade, any type of anything. And so, unfortunately, internationally, there's not enough support when you don't have enough, when you can't really,
That's why we
like,
got to get our
give
businesses
enough.
together, Coco. We got to get our industry together. We got to pool and circulate our dollar and become a
We need
player.
power. We need political power. We need
Well, that
political
speaks to
power.
speaks to the way in which our political organizations were defeated, because at one point, we were valued as part of the folks who were battling in the belly of the beast, or the enemy within, right? And when there was a communist bloc or a socialist left bloc, the Black revolutionaries were courted to not only come out and be anti-imperialist, but for those nations to stand up and talk about the discrimination that Africans here suffered, Black folks here suffered. Remember, there were many revolutionaries who took visits to communist China, to Soviet Union, to Cuba, other places around the world, making common cause. But with the defeat of that movement, and with the defeat of the largest socialist bloc for a long time, it meant that the capitalist regime sort of was reigning supreme. And now, and even the sort of carbon, the sterile carbon copies of what Black revolution is, today's organizers, is only fairly recently, I guess, that there's been a large enough drum of people to even reconsider what a radical Black political environment and stance looks like, particularly one that's anti-colonial, that's joining with anti-colonial struggles and anti-imperialist struggles around the world. So that, again, I emphasize that I think we are in this new period of potentially huge radical changes, or at least huge sort of changes happening in the world right as we speak. And we got to be ready for that. As Moulton was saying earlier, we have to really, really, really struggle and prepare ourselves politically and organizationally to make sure that we push this struggle further and weaken the Western cause and Western imperialism.
And can I just plug in real quick, BAP, right? Black Alliance for Peace, because a lot of the work, and not to say Black Alliance for Peace is not doing work locally. We are doing work locally. We are focused on tying the domestic issues with the international solidarity, right? Like, and connecting these issues. And I think BAP, you see the delegations that are going internationally to other African diaspora, communities, and pushing that solidarity, bridging, like you said, other colonized peoples and their struggles, and finding ways to create that dialogue, which is so important, right? It's just so important. This is why we have to support organizations like Black Alliance for Peace, that is actually doing that work, to think in terms of how do we develop this international solidarity, so that when shit pops off, we're like, actually, we have some people out there, like we have that dialogue, we have people that can support. And regionally, whether it's in the Americas, whether it's on the continent of Africa, we need to have that, right? Because of where we're situated, where we're located, especially if we're thinking in terms of like, resistance here in the South. So I'm just saying, everyone support BAP, please. I yield.
Right on. No. So it's 9:00. Remix Morning Show, Black Power Media, Coco, Kamau, and Jared right here, rocking with you, holding it down. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, join the platform if you can, support our Patreon. Links are all in the show description, blackpowermedia.org for more. Still reviewing some powerful submissions for this senior director of operations. So here at BPM. So if you are interested, apply quick. It's been some powerhouse submissions.
Or I spend that money.
Quick. Before Kamau spends that money, or maybe he already did on his new computer. So maybe it ain't no job.
Yeah, don't look at the Black Power Media account. Don't look at that. Don't look at that. That's a written off expense, son.
There we go. Oh, there we go. Spoken like a true Brooklyn lawyer. Speaking of the law, though, and shadiness, look at your boy back fresh off of killing Breonna Taylor. Rams his car and pulls gun on witnesses, or pulls gun, witnesses say. Miles Cosgrove, the officer who killed Breonna Taylor, rams his car, pulls gun, witnesses say. Miles Cosgrove, the former Louisville police officer who was fired for fatally shooting Breonna Taylor in a botched 2020 police raid and hired earlier this year as sheriff's deputy in Carroll County, rammed a resident's truck with his cruiser Monday and then pointed a gun at the owner and several bystanders, witnesses said. Witnesses told the Courier-Journal that Cosgrove barreled into Happy Hollow Private Resort Park trailer park at a, I'm sorry. This is totally inappropriate. I apologize. Let me reset for a second. Sorry about that. My apologies. Witnesses told the Courier-Journal that Cosgrove barreled into Happy Hollow Private Resort Park trailer park at a high rate of speed without his emergency lights on, then struck William Joshua Short's pickup truck with such force that it sent the vehicle flying into a building, breaking off 2 cylinder blocks. I'm having some problems here maintaining maturity. I apologize. I apologize to everybody and to the universe. I'm really, really struggling right now. Carroll County Sheriff Ryan Gosner, who did not respond Tuesday to a request for comment, said Friday he disputes most of the witnesses' accounts. Evidence shows, apparently in an email, that Cosgrove was not going at a high rate of speed when he drove into the trailer park and that he had his blue lights activated.
So he hit it at a non-high rate. He hit it at a non-high rate of speed. At a normal rate of speed, he hit. It's like, no. He was going at the appropriate rate of speed when he crashed into that trailer park.
That's what I was waiting for. Are they saying that he didn't crash then, or that he gently rolled into?
Gosner acknowledged that Cosgrove pulled his gun, but said it was because several people came in Cosgrove's direction, shouting threats and menacing. Yes, that's what they came to the cop, menacing the cop with the gun. which forced him to pull out his gun and start the shooting.
And that
Yeah.
sounds right? Anytime in that a cop quietly drives into a neighborhood and peaceably parks, people just come right out and immediately get hostile. Not because he
Shouting,
came
signs.
flying up in that joint, crashed into somebody's stuff. It said it knocked cinder blocks off the stuff. That so yeah, people, that's people's housing. People probably were upset.
As
Oh,
well,
man. And well, they should be. Short was charged with, oh wow, so they charged. So okay, wait. Gostner said Kentucky State Police charged Short, not the sheriff's office. He also says Cosgrove has been a good deputy and has represented this office professionally. Short was charged with wanton endangerment of a police officer, along with fleeing and evading police. And even though witnesses said he made no attempt to get away, either in his truck or on foot. Wow.
I love how the story is falling apart even before they get it. They solidly get it out there.
So yeah, the cop is just saying that the other guy was the aggressor.
And we know he has no history of being an aggressor.
No history of overdoing it and being an aggressor and inappropriately using his authority and his weapon. And
can you imagine that job interview? That job interview, he went to the sheriff's office. It's like, so you're the cop that killed? Well, dang it,
him immediately.
Exactly. Like she was attacking you in her sleep, wasn't she? You can feel that she was about to get up and attack you. You had no choice but to do what you did.
Yeah.
This is like the cop in Atlanta that killed Rashard Brooks. They fired him and he got his job back. He's on the force now. So he didn't even have to go to another force. He didn't have to go to the sheriff's office. He just got his job back and back pay.
And they put those pictures up so that you can, make them seem like these upstanding, good Americans, people.
His picture don't work though. He don't look up. He needs a publicist. You look shady, boy.
With the ill-fitting suit.
The ill-fitting suit. I'm saying you look like somebody threw the suit at you on your way out your drunken stupor. But look, here they go again. Look, there's more. There's more. A security guard says Dallas officers knelt on him and mistaking him for a violent crime suspect. In a federal suit, the South Oak Cliff man alleges the wrong arrest and excessive force spurred a downward spiral in his life. A man is suing several Dallas police officers for a 2021 arrest in which he says they used excessive force after mistaking him for a violent crime suspect with a similar name. A similar name or a similar complexion. Sylvester Hayes alleges in a federal suit filed last week that officers Walter Paul Gaub, Holly Harris, and about 8 others whose names weren't disclosed kicked, punched, and tased him and dislocated his arm before realizing they had the wrong man. His arm injury has caused him ongoing pain and mobility issues. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat because I was thinking about the way I was treated. Wow. The 27-year-old black security guard from South Oak Cliff said police racially profiled him when they pulled him over in October of 2021 as he drove to pick up breakfast, French toast and bacon for his 4 children. His name is similar to, but spelled differently than the name of a man wanted at the time on a family violence warrant. So
wait though, they didn't know his name when they stopped him. Are they claiming that they may not? I don't know the article.
Oh, right, because it says he was. Well, he's saying he was racially profiled.
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah. Are they claiming that they had the name right? Because if they had the right
tags, they pulled him over because of his tags. They matched the name on the thing.
That's possible.
I love it. Now the city of Dallas has declined to comment, citing ongoing. I like it when they
litigation.
Cite, yeah.
But
when
even
they arrest
itself,
you and charge you, they're the first ones to have a press conference. They're the first ones to give you that little perp walk. They're the first ones to put a press release out on social media and have the media pick it up. But when you try to get back at them, all of a sudden they can't talk about it no more.
So it says here, Hayes gave the officers his driver's license, and Harris erroneously told Gaub that Hayes was a wanted man without checking his license on the computer in her police cruiser. Gaub didn't verify the information and instead marched to Hayes's driver's side window and without explanation reached inside to open the door, the lawsuit says. Hayes, alarmed by the sudden escalation, demanded the police tell him what was happening and wasn't given an explanation. According to the lawsuit, the situation escalated as several unnamed officers arrived in a rush to join the fight.
There wasn't a fight. The word fight. He wasn't fighting. He was getting beat down.
Just like it's a war in Palestine.
Both sides. It's a both sides argument.
Both sides. So this one man against, they said 8 officers. That's about right.
Yeah, that was a fight.
That's a fight.
That's a fight.
This unarmed one man against 8 armed police officers that's the fight. Yeah.
But that's the thing, the warrant, like, like they, just because they have a warrant on someone, right? They make these warrants seem like, you're a criminal, like as if like, we have to take you in no matter what. And you better come and we're going to beat you down until we're going to kill you until you come. Like, and the person is not even found guilty, right? Like there is no, like, a warrant could mean like people have warrants for like nonsense shit, right? And then you just go ahead and, escalate these things when there's no verification of facts. There's no verification of anything, mistaken name, like, oh, we thought you were somebody else, but like, you don't even know like what the warrant is actually for, but you have to be physically violent with people over nothing, even if this person was supposedly the person and this warrant was supposedly theirs, family violence, like what is that? Like, do you, like, they automatically have a license to harm over nothing, over a piece of paper, over, a complaint, over an unpaid ticket, all of this nonsense. They shouldn't have power. First of all, I mean, you obviously know, like, fuck the pigs. They shouldn't have no power, period. But like traffic stops, I think is like one of the biggest issues. Car accidents, traffic stops, like why domestic, situations, like why do the police have that much interaction with people? And, why are we continuing to allow politicians to put them in those positions? Why are we not organizing to at least, remove some of these positions of power from the police, and holding these politicians accountable? Because honestly, they continuing to raise funding for the police. They're continuing to, obviously we have training centers popping up everywhere for the police. And we know that they're not training centers. They're just, training to kill. But I just think it's just, like, at what point are we actually organizing, to really hold these politicians accountable? Because I really just think a lot of this is just politicians, right? Like politicians are the reason why, these laws and all of this is in place, because, they're the ones who create the law, supposedly anyway. So I don't know.
Right on. I did peek in the chat and I saw that we got folks rocking with the Israeli timeline of events apparently. So yeah, Zionism is using Zionism's timeline of events. Oh man. But listen, so we also there was some breaking news last night, by the way, that Erica was right on top of course. Unfortunately, 16 people dead. Sources say as a person of interest is being sought in 2 shootings in Lewiston, Maine. This is crazy. At least 16 people are dead and dozens are injured following 2 shootings Wednesday night at a bowling alley and a restaurant in Lewiston, Maine, sources say. And an intensive manhunt is underway for a person of interest. Robert Card, 40, of Bowdoin, is a person of interest and should be considered armed and dangerous. Maine Department of Public Safety Commissioner Mike Shawshuk said. Law enforcement officials in Maine tell CNN that Card is a certified firearms instructor and a member of the U.S. Army Reserve. Card had recently made threats to carry out a shooting on the National Guard facility in Saco, Maine, and he also reported mental health issues, including hearing voices, the official said. Reported to who? And then what was done about that?
He got more guns. He
During
went
the
out.
news
He was
conference.
immediately able to get more guns.
Is that what happened?
No, I mean, they got a picture. I don't know. I'm sure it's in this article of him of the quote unquote suspect actually with the long rifle shooting and stuff like that.
Wow. So this is him here. At least 16 people, dozens injured. Follow for up. Oh, this is the
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Looks like an AR-15, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. So.
And he's still that large. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll get captured unharmed, without a beatdown.
Wait, this is how far he traveled between the two spots?
Are they saying that he did both?
That's what I thought they were reporting. Or it's less than 2 miles away, I guess. That looks, I mean, that's...
On the map, it looks far.
Yeah, it does. So, dang.
Another shooting spree.
He ditched his car and went in the woods. Is this just anyway, I don't know. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Oh man, that's right. Richard Roundtree passed away. Man, my bad. Yeah, I didn't see that.
Well, I wasn't going to do Richard yet. Do you want to do Richard?
Okay. No, go ahead. Go ahead. I just saw the name.
So this goes back to about abusive employers, apparently. So I haven't listened to it yet, but it says Democratic Congresswoman Rep. Sheila Jackson Lee abuses staff on leaked audio.
Oh wow.
So I just I got to hear her.
Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee deserves to be fired. She needs to be sued for harassment.
I don't want you to do a goddamn thing. I want you to have a fucking brain. I want you to have read it. I want you to say, Congresswoman, it was such and such day. That's what I want. So some stupid other motherfucker did it. Boo-boo did it. Shit-ass did it. Fuckface did it. And nobody knows a goddamn thing in my office. Not to, Jerome has it. Okay? So when I call Jerome, he's going to be sitting up there like a fat-ass, stupid idiot, talking about what the fuck he doesn't know. Okay? Both of y'all are fuck up a fucking F. It's the worst shit that I could have ever had put together. Two goddamn big ass children. Fucking idiots. Serve no goddamn purpose. Ain't managing nobody. Nobody's respecting them. Nobody gives a shit about what you're doing. And you ain't doing shit.
I wonder how many times she done did this.
Now, I mean,
that's Tim Black, right?
I don't know who the dude is. Yeah, I don't know who he is. He I feel like he must be a comedian of some sort.
No. I think he's a I don't know, liberal left YouTube
commentator,
Black comment. I think that's him, isn't it?
Yeah, it says real Tim Black. Yeah.
Yeah. He's, I mean, he's out there, got very good production quality. But no, seriously. I've watched a couple of shows. Like I'm definitely not starting another beef. I don't have any issues. I was just saying I don't have no criticisms. But isn't she running? Isn't she in charge of reparations? So that's it for reparations, right? That's just another setback, right? Just one more setback. Isn't she supposed to be the one?
I don't know.
Taking over for Conyers.
What I got from this audio, because maybe she was right. I mean, sometimes you get upset at people.
Yo, is this how CMB meetings are run, Kamal? Is that the next tape that's gonna leak? Kamal at a community movement builders meeting. You worthless. We ain't had no revolution yet.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
Like mother, childlike. She said, everybody in my office is done. I can't do nothing.
I've been told for years in a lot of spaces that I'm a problem because I've refused to accept those kinds of exchanges in workplaces. Like people have told me for years, oh no, that's just par for the course. This is how we get down here. And I'm like, nah, absolutely not. like one. That's why I don't have no career. One time like that, and I'm out. It's a wrap. Or I would have been holding that phone under the whoever was holding it under the shirt was like, yeah, keep
going.
What else? Keep going. Keep going. About
You
the
got more to
world
say?
star. I don't know if they say that anymore, but yo, that was hilarious.
Oh no.
So it's great to hear it as an audience member, but if I was on the receiving end of that, like they used to do that in the military, and I was like, as soon as I don't have to do this, I was like, they were like, you know, anyway, it's like, I'm out.
No,
One
in my
time.
younger days, I've taken that once or twice, and it was like, I can't, like, no, you can't talk to me like I'm flipping over desks, I'm taking things, I'm leaving. It's like, this is not going down like that. That's why I can't work for nobody. Because the moment somebody thinks they got that kind of power over you, it's like, if they're not going to be like, I can't take the no disrespect. It's one of the
can't say nothing. I work for Kamal.
Yeah, I was gonna say Coco.
Oh my god!
I can't say nothing right now. I work for you, Kamal.
I've never, ever, I never talked to nobody like that. Not unless they say something to me first. Then.
Yeah, we know you already told your stories, throwing phones in offices and all kinds of stuff. Y'all, Kamal is wild. I'm not messing with.
It's only if I'm provoked.
Look, the one time, dude, I remember 15 years old, dude yelled at me for, I think I spilled fries in Wendy's or something like that. And I immediately set up to this day, my most impressive thieving operation that I've ever run. It was so sweet. I remember him. I was like, yeah, keep yelling. I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna get all the money out of this joint. And it was beautiful. My scheme was, I've never come up with anything this good ever again in every area of life. I have to admit. It was beautiful. And I was like, yeah, take all the money out this joint.
I've never left a job without taking something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never fired or quit. Never. There's got something, nothing, something for the validate the fact that I had to be here has to come home. I don't care if it's a computer. I don't care if it's office supplies. If I've had a key, I'm going back out. I don't care. Something is coming home to make me feel a little bit better about the fact that I had to spend my time in this whack place. Like there's got to be another, even when I got cash settlements or like I don't care. Something's got to come.
You're the reason they fire people Friday afternoon.
Oh, definitely, yeah, definitely. I definitely am. There's only one person who got me. There's one person who got me. They called me in right away. They knew. I feel like they knew ahead of time. I wasn't exactly escorted out, but they knew. They knew. It was like, boom, you in here, come here, and then out the door kind of thing. That's when the few times I just got.
When I was young, I was like 19. I became a manager of Foot Action, and eventually Foot Action, Foot Locker. Well, it was both the same, and I did that I was with them for like 8 years, and I was a manager, and I was in the hood too, like Fordham Road and all that. And you had to deal with a lot of shit, as a manager. Like you had to deal with a lot of shit, not only the employees, but the customers, and then you had to deal with like corporate, shit on you, like as a manager, like, loss prevention and stuff like that. So I was real young and I didn't know how to talk to people. So and people loved me. They all loved me, but I was just like, I just didn't know how to talk to people. And so it's and I can understand, like being like now being the employee. Like I used to like always, after quitting, right, becoming not a manager, I started to realize what I was like as a manager. And I'm like, I hate managers. They don't know how to talk to me. And then I look back and I'm like, damn, I was like that. Yeah, so I get it.
You're not ready for that. You're not ready for my Wendy's scheme. You're not ready for that. That's got to be Patreon only. That joint is that joint is like Ocean's 12 level. No, I'm just playing. I think I've already shared it already. All it was that I would overcharge any order over $5 at the window at the drive-through. I would add a dollar to it. Any order over 10, I would add 2 and up from there. And then I would just pocket the difference.
Did you get busted?
No, it was because it was perfect. I never got caught because, it requires the old style of doing things, the old cash registers and cash and all that other stuff. But I would on a daily basis walk home with $50 to $100 in cash on top of whatever I was getting paid.
And wait, the customers didn't notice at all? They didn't.
Every once in a while. So if they did, they would say like, "Oh, can I check the receipt?" And I would say, "Oh, you know what? My bad. I'm sorry. It was only because it would only be like $1 off."
Yeah.
So I'd be like, "Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I misread it. It's busy today." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Oh, okay, okay." But and then that was it. And but yeah, but it is true that it is the best scheme I've ever come up with. It just wasn't. That just shows you the level of my schemery. But it was beautiful.
I had a real close friend. He worked for me at one of my stores, and eventually he became a manager, and he was doing that. And they got him for grand larceny for that shit. Like he got locked up, did time and all of that. Like, cause he admitted he was doing it. So he was stupid for that. But
I was gonna say, he got greedy.
Oh, I know.
Greedy.
Oh, he was doing it though. He was real,
Double
but
charged.
The only thing for me looking back is the only problem with what I was doing that I have is that I was ripping off the customers and not Wendy's itself, because Wendy's always got all of its money. So that's really the only flaw with my plot, which is also why I got away with it, because Wendy's there was nothing on the books for them to catch, and they got all their money.
Yeah.
But if you had let me near their books, I would have probably been right there next to whoever Coco was just talking about. Because especially after the first time you raised your voice at me, I'm like, I'm robbing you blind. I'm taking everything. If I can't quit, if I don't quit, I'm taking.
Yeah.
That's why I told my wife, don't, if you ever cheat on me, don't tell me unless you want to leave. Because if you tell me and I stay with you, I'm going to be trifling. It's going to be for very petty reasons. So you should leave. So don't tell me unless you intend to leave. Because if we don't think I'm going to be like, oh, we get over it, we're going to stay together. Hell no. Hell no.
We know you petty. So
it's hell. And I'm going to be trifling. Be like, oh, word? Okay.
Missing underwear. It's like, I got no underwear. It was like,
it would just be a series of ongoing pettiness forever, trying to just like slowly ruin her life. So it'd be like, you got to tell me on your way out. Like I cheated on you and I'm leaving.
Bags are packed.
Your bags are packed. I quit.
The Uber's at the door.
Right.
I think that's my problem.
Got all the money.
Been too honest.
Too honest.
Too honest. Yeah. Like I never did none of that stuff. I should have.
At places you
when I think about it. Yeah, I
you
never
should
did.
have.
Yeah.
I should have, at least a little something.
I agree.
I was just too honest. Way too honest. Yeah.
You say you should have done a little dirt on the side? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
She's probably right.
Now that I think, like, now that I'm like, against everything, like I think back and I'm just like, fuck capitalism, like fuck these corporations, and everybody else used to do shit. I used to see everything, and I never I just like, you do you. I don't care as long as it doesn't affect my job. And if it does affect my job, I don't know nothing. I had a manager. She was my best friend, and she's the one who put me on track to be a manager. And she was doing some shady shit, and they would call all the time, and they'd be like, is this, happy? Like they would call and check all her shit. And I'd be like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. And I quit because I was like, I can't take this pressure. Like I was like, I can't do what she's doing. They keep calling. And so I quit.
Well, at least you knew not to be a rat. That's good.
Yeah. I quit. But then when they fired her, because they finally, they found, they figured it out and everything, they called me and said, hey, we're firing her. Do you want her job? And I was like, okay. And I took it. And
I was a decent employee. I just if I wasn't filling a job, I just was not like, I wasn't your best worker in the world. But I would only take after I felt, umbrage, after I felt like, oh, you did something to me. now, I justified it through my, like, I got a right to this now. And so so I never did the sort of forward thinking high level or medium level stuff of like, let's get the grift going or whatever like that. It was always like in my head, I justified it in some rational way of like, what? Who you think you're talking to? I was like, don't let, and I think I think it's like the baby face thing when I was younger and all that. And so I was like, what? It's like, oh no, it ain't going down like that. It's like, oh no. And if I had keys, let me have keys.
That light skins are innocent joint. I definitely ran with that.
Yeah.
I was happy to get, oh yeah, we just innocent. I don't have enough melanin to do no dirt. Come on now. You know me better than that. Come on now.
Yeah. Keys and weekends were always a good time for retribution.
When I worked at the strip club, I was a waitress. And so we had to bring cash to the customer. And, a lot of times, you bring the cash. I would just take the cash from the person who gives the cash out. Like you exchange the money and I would just bring it over. And one time this dancer, she was like, yo, my money's short. And I said, that's not me. And she was like, the money's short though. Yo, I walked over to that cage and I said, yo, you shorting the money? Because that shit is not on me. Y'all gotta fix that shit. I'm not getting accused over here of taking money. That starts fights, especially in the strip club. People be fighting.
Dollars matter.
I saw Players Club, so I know everything about the stripper life. And yeah, it's dangerous.
It was funny, the J-Lo movie. I don't know which one that was. When she was a dancer and she was whatever. But the owner of my strip club was in that movie. Yeah.
Ricky, what are you talking about? I'm innocent. Ricky said I look like I'm always scheming. Stop it. I'm innocent. Never plotting. Not ever. Never. That is funny. They're all funny, man. This is hilarious.
So our man Richard Roundtree passed away.
He did, unfortunately. Although I hope, I say unfortunately, I hope there's not going to be some latent story in there. Yeah, that I don't know about. But star of the original Shaft dies at 81. The actor's work as the powerful, unapologetic black male lead in the 1971 film introduced into mainstream cinema, the African-American action hero. That is true. I mean, this is sort of our generational, certainly one of the generational symbolic superhero types.
I was going to say, was he our Rock? I don't know. He was blacker than Rock. The Rock. I don't know who's an equivalent. Who's an equivalent today of a black superhero dude?
Like Sam Jackson, maybe. I don't know.
Samuel Jackson isn't Sam Jackson.
Well, as he literally played Shaft in the remake, but as that sort of,
he doesn't have that reputation as the smooth, suave.
He doesn't. Well, I mean, but as the stereotypical alpha male, black, masculine, you're right. I mean, he's not the smooth figure or whatever. But
Shaft may have been the thing about Shaft. He might have been the only one we ever had. I mean, Superfly, right? The pimp. But name me some black action hero characters that have been like 2, 3, 4 movies. You know what I mean? Like sequels and all that shit. Like who's? Yeah, but Billy D as an actor. But what's the role that we remember? Well, I guess the Star Wars dude. Like who?
No, that don't count. You can't be a sidekick. You can't be the magic Negro and still be. You can't have that.
Might have been it.
Somebody said Denzel and Wesley Snipes. Wesley should have been. I think his career got messed up.
Yeah, after he didn't pay them taxes.
The taxes issue, and then I really think it's because he narrated and put out that film on Dr. Clark. That's what I really think is he got punished for.
Oh no, I think because he fell in with the mythology. What is it? What's that black group? The Wahhabis. He fell in with the Wahhabis.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
he didn't pay his taxes. He had a whole.
Oh, is that what that was? I had no idea.
No, Wesley had a whole political stance of why he didn't he wasn't a citizen. He was he did the whole numerology shit. He was all down with that. until Uncle Sam been like, yo, look, you was too high profile, Negro. We can't let you get away with this. Yeah. And that brought him down. After
No,
that,
it can't.
he went 10 years. I
It can never be. It can never be Bill Cosby because George Jackson called him out live in real time
And he was
said
a
that Bill
yeah.
said the running dog of the state. You can't you can't play an FBI agent and be the.
And y'all naming actors. Name the signature role.
Local cop and do it.
Name the signature role of a black actor that has been, you know, the equivalent to the white man's James Bond. And what's the one that Matt Damon plays?
Bourne.
Oh, the Bourne characters. There's no.
I saw somebody said that the movie Will Smith did with Margot Robbie. I never saw it, but they said that was supposed to become his vehicle to become that black, the new black Shaft. Not Shaft per se, but the smooth criminal type thing. But apparently it didn't go well. So I Undercover Brother now. I mean, I did love that movie though. I'm not gonna front.
Somebody just brought up Black Panther. So that was a possibility, but he only did one.
But stop it.
I'm just saying.
The Equalizer with Denzel. Thank you, Ear Doctor, from your Mexican production skills.
From the beach.
On the beach. Seriously though.
Abandoned
everything from the beach.
Ditched us for a vacation.
But he in the chat.
Ruined yesterday's show. That was his fault, y'all.
He sure did. I blame Ear Doctor.
I blame Ear Doctor too.
He didn't leave us no clips either. He's supposed to leave us transition clips.
Oh, that's right. You told him all that too.
I did request him, but
and for record, he knew because he knew he was going. He knew he was going out there. I knew he was going out there. So
so both Equalizers, Latifah and Denzel. No, man.
Oh no, y'all can stop now. There's no equivalent. Shaft was it. It was one. Shaft.
Candyman.
the only black action hero. Well, Blade. That's right.
It should have been Blade.
Blade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Blade might have been a second, but is that really like synced into like?
Oh yeah, look at Hiram. Medea. Damn, Pootie Tang.
Just throw the wrench in there.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's not helping. Y'all not helping.
Lawrence Fishburne. Bumpy Johnson.
No.
The Matrix.
What is the signature? Not the actor. Stop with the actor. Name me a signature character. No, not an actor. Name me the signature character. He played in the Matrix. Multiple. And what's his name? What was his name? As he yells at
Morpheus.
Only you know that though.
But he got, but again, Morpheus is still like he's the magic Negro. He's the side character. He's the one helping the white man get over. That can't be. That can't
name me the signature black superhero. Pam Grier did a couple, but we don't remember her character name.
What's old boy that did the Power Man and Power Man on Netflix?
I rest my case. You can't even name.
Where
you can't even name it. You can't name
Creed. Power Man is the character. Creed.
Let's just bring it back to white supremacy. You can't.
I think Blade. I can't say anything other than Blade. Like
Blade is the closest. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Luke Cage. That's what I meant. Well, Power Man was his name in the comic books, but
he loved the police. Luke Cage. That's
that was the thing. That's the thing. All of them do though.
Police. Blade did not work with the police though.
Well, no. I'm sorry. I meant most comic book heroes. You're right. Blade did not work with the police. Correct.
Shaft worked with the police.
Blank Man. There you go, Brandon.
Shaft was police.
My pops
loved
I thought he was a private detective.
That's the same thing. Police.
After he get fired from the cops, though, right?
Oh,
it's exactly. Mm-hmm.
You can't be a private detective and still, I guess you're right.
No, you don't. I mean, most times they are.
Private detectives.
Most times they are. Because like when my pops, he retired, he became a private investigator.
You
and
know,
then my uncle too. He was a pig, and he became a private investigator. Yeah.
But they mostly follow around, going to Jared's earlier, they mostly follow around people who might be cheating. That's what they usually get hired for. They're not doing no real criminal work.
Now, if they would do the 21st century media Pennsylvania work and like break out the doc, digitally break out, because I know it's all digital now. We need like a digital PI to bust out the COINTELPRO papers for the 21st century. And let's find out what's really going on.
Yes, Troy Ballard said, but Shaft was slapping up cops, though. That's true, too. He had a love-hate relationship with him. Then there's
Marshall
Superfly.
Ali.
Yeah, because he didn't like crooked cops, you know? So that was like the whole thing, you know? He believed in the police still, but he just didn't like the crooked cops.
Oh,
I
we can
never
come back
saw
to this, but
Shaft
there's
in
the
Africa,
segue.
though. Any of y'all saw Shaft in Africa? I know you're about to segue.
Wait,
my
what?
bad.
No, I
Shaft
did.
in Africa.
I
That was the
did.
third Shaft.
I gotta. Oh man, I have no memory of it though. But
My
we
pops
we
watched
should.
this stuff.
Yeah, that Shaft in Africa can't have been good.
No, I gotta see it. I can't remember.
You know what? I'm about to watch it again. I'm about to find it. We should have a BPM screening. We should have like a
memoriam,
Shaft in Africa
memoriam.
night in
That would be
memoriam for Richard
hilarious.
Roundtree.
Let's do that.
I'm down with that. Yeah.
All right, we'll start planning it.
Mhm.
Start the email group. But I was just sharing here. You mentioned something shady. I forgot the line you used, Coco, but something shady about the police. And Ear Doctor first sent us this story, and admittedly, we were skeptical because it even for some of us, it sounds crazy. But a mother reported her son missing in March. Police kept the truth from her for months. Betterston's
They beat him?
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I just thought I heard
Betterston
this story.
Wade's search for her adult son ended when she discovered that an officer had run him over, and without telling her, authorities buried him in a pauper's field. Jesus Christ. 7 months after searching for her son, brought Betterston Wade to a dirt road leading into the woods, past an empty horse stable and scrapyard. The last time she'd seen her middle child, Dexter Wade, 37, was on the night of March 5th as he left home with a friend. She reported him missing, and Jackson police told her they'd been unable to find him, she said. It wasn't until 172 excruciating days after his disappearance that Betterston learned the truth. Dexter had been killed less than an hour after he left home, struck by a Jackson police car as he crossed a nearby interstate highway. Police had known Dexter's name and hers, but failed to contact her, instead letting his body go unclaimed for months in the county morgue. Now it was early October, and Betterston had finally been told where she could find her son.
It's crazy. And that's Jackson. This is Jackson, Mississippi.
I am not surprised.
It sounds like it's the Jackson Police Force under the command and control of one Antar Lumumba, son of Chokwe Lumumba. So let's see what the outcome is in terms of these several cops. This has to be something systemic. One person can't hide the body. It's from the morgue, the coroner, to the cops, to the detectives, to the supervisors. And that's not a big force. I'm sure word got around that they basically took the body out the car, took it to the morgue's office, literally stashed the body for several months and just had people bury it without telling the mom, without telling the family, without reporting. No reports, nothing. What they do with the car?
Kamal, forgive me for interrupting, but look at this. The decision to call the police was difficult for Betterston. She did not trust them. In 2019, her 62-year-old brother died after a Jackson officer slammed him to the ground. The officer was convicted of manslaughter, but is appealing. Good Lord.
I'm sure he'll get back on the force.
Yo.
No, that's one of the craziest. I mean, I think somebody did a long tweet over it, whatever, like giving out those details of, like, again, over 172, half a year. She's searching for her, like, who had no reason to disappear whatsoever. And they know exactly what's happening. They know exactly where he is. They know exactly what they did to him. And again, it's the coroner's office, the cop on the scenes, the supervisor, whoever picked up the body, all of that laid out. You talking about, and again, Jackson is not a big force. So you're
And
talking about people know. Yeah, I'm sorry.
no, I'm sure, like, considering her brother, like, I'm sure that was even, they could have been targeted, right? Like, they could have saw him and intentionally, hit him.
They said he had been arrested. That he had done 2 stints in jail or prison, apparently. So there would have it is possible that they would have had some. Of course, they mentioned that in the story, and then something about some mental disability potentially. But
But Jackson
yeah,
is small.
they may. I
Like you
mean, yeah.
said,
Yeah,
So
Jackson.
what
The
is
police force in Jackson is not. It can't be any more than 300 or 400 cops. It's not a big police. It's a city. It was no bigger, and I think it's shrinking. It was no bigger when I was down there than 180,000 people, and that's the largest city in Mississippi. We used to describe it as more of a big town than a small city or anything like that.
So, but what can the mayor's office do? What authority does that office hold over the police?
Well, he selects the chief of police. So there's a round of firing, a round of reorganizing that can happen from the top down to the bottom. Private, like some investigation, and even as the investigation, if you cannot fire them right away, and I think you probably can, but if you can't, like unpaid leave until the investigation is done. Again, that investigation has to be coordinated with the local district attorney's office to make sure that all the agencies involved, again, the coroner's office, had to be involved in knowing what took place. They received the body and buried it in an unmarked grave. There's no way that happens without there being side conversations, discussions. You don't just lose a body like that, particularly knowing that the cop hit the car, right? So there's a lot that can be done, even publicly. I mean, maybe the story just hit, and so we have to wait. But the bully pulpit of a news conference, this is untenable. This cannot happen. Heads were something to demonstrate the seriousness of this issue, because this is one of the, we've heard there's so many wild stories, but to know the mother, the child, a whole year, half a year, I mean, of not knowing anything. And they said the mother didn't report right away anyway, not at the speculation of like not trusting the cops, and then maybe thinking, I mean, he's 37 years old. Maybe he went someplace. Maybe he did something. Maybe something like that. But still feeling like that sense of like something's wrong here, right? It's over 30 years. Like he usually comes home or usually contacts me, and the search and just the sheer trauma of someone searching for their child, no matter how old that child is, just searching without hearing anything, and talking to the cops who know very well what happened. There's a lot that should be done or can be done. And even for those who are supposedly doing anti-police brutality work in Jackson, there's a lot that should be done. This is a story that should be like on the radar for them for the next 6 months in terms of organizing.
Well, look, I know we only got a couple minutes left. I don't know what you all got coming up. Hey, by the way, what's up tomorrow at 4:00 for the Cornell West interview? Is anybody joining me for that?
I'm down. I'll be there.
Coco, you
think about it.
You gonna think about it?
I'm gonna think about it. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind, but I think about it. 4:00 is depending. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's when it's the pickup time.
No, it's just my time.
Busy.
It's my right. She try to. Yeah, it's my
like
time.
I don't know.
I heard that. It's
gotta think about that. But I mean, maybe I would, just because I feel like I have a lot of questions, when it comes down to Cornell West and his intentions, especially going to an independent, focus on that, and also this whole like I do question his intentions in conceding to Biden, and I don't really know why he did what he did, and why is he working with this former DNC campaign manager. And I have some questions, but I don't want like to approach it in a way that it's an attack on Cornel West, because I don't think he deserves that either. I think it's just there's questions, and I have some, so maybe I'll ask.
Yeah, we're not attacking, but we have questions, but it'll be a friendly, brotherly conversation.
For a while.
Nah.
But I don't like his answers, though. I don't like his answers.
How can you not like his answers? Even when I disagree, it sounds nice.
It's like because it's so rhythmic. It's so it's so Cornell. He does it.
He's gonna, we're gonna get the jazz man and brother. So
he sidesteps in such a beautiful way.
By the way, it was interesting. I think it would be interesting to compare the way Fred Moulton talked about jazz yesterday on Mac Capitalism to the way Cornel West talks about jazz in his work. Like I don't pretend to understand everything Moulton was saying, but there was a vibe I felt like I was feeling that I was rocking with. So
I gotta look at the interview. I gotta look at the interview.
I think it's worth your time.
No one does Cornell like Cornell, though. Like what's this? What's your favorite's name? The other so-called public academic. What's his name? Dyson.
Oh,
I feel like Dyson tried to come on and be like another version of Cornell. And he made
he wanted to be.
Don't get me wrong.
No, he wanted to be Cornel West, and then he wanted to replace Cornel West. So he had to try to take him out. And then there's some, I still think, some undealt with allegations about his time at Georgetown and Vanderbilt that seem to have Dyson getting a little quiet lately. I don't know.
Yeah, y'all got some greasy academics. That's crazy.
It is. Academia is shady. It is no different than anywhere else. It's just people have read a little bit more. That might be the only difference. And it reading is important, but it don't make you principled. Reading in and of itself don't make you principled. So
Dyson went way liberal when he was called upon on several occasions. I really started to like Cornell again when he started calling out Obama. Like that, that was like a re-energized. It's like, oh, I got to look at Cornell again. Because, for the most part, I just kind of written him off as like, obviously well-versed, well-read, liberal left kind of commentator, but always keeping one foot into the whole love thing. Like he wrote some book that was like The Answer is Love. And I was just like, I can't with this. So I had to leave him alone. But when he came out against Barack, I was like, oh, yeah, that's that. He's standing up.
Yeah, but after he voted for him, that was my only problem. Like, because
the claim is he didn't get the invite, right? He didn't get the invite to the ball or something like that. Wasn't that the claim?
That's the only reason I started talking trash about Obama. I didn't get invited either. I'd have been his favorite supporter. I'd have been raving the hope flag, but he didn't invite me. I was like, that's shady motherfucker. I hate him. Black Agenda Report's right. I didn't get invited. Black Agenda Report's right.
Until I get invited to one of those nice White House ones, but they got Stevie Wonder there. Yeah. Then it's like, oh, this is a good brother.
Common performed too. And that's probably what happened. Now Common's writing self-help books and whatnot. That's what happened. He went to the White House.
That's what Obama does. Remember, Obama makes calls. He'll make a call, tell you to calm that down. Call LeBron. It's like, hey,
got the bat phone to the NBA. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, wasn't LeBron defending Israel?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I didn't hear LeBron, but I'm sure there were others.
No, LeBron did. LeBron came out.
Did he?
Yeah. But before, when he was trying to do, he was potentially talking about a strike or a new league or something like that. And then Obama got on the call. It was like, look, B.
They were talking about striking. Yeah. And he called I think what was his name? The point guard was the head of the
negotiations.
Not Rich Paul, but the other Paul. Whatever.
Oh, I know you're talking about. Yeah.
That guy. Chris Paul. Yeah.
We knew his name.
Did you want to share a story? Were you trying to share one more before we got out of here?
I was, but it's like 9:54.
Okay.
But I'd rather just go out talking about Cornell a little bit more. I just think that in terms of questions, I think what's going to be interesting, the thing that Coco brought up around why'd you hire someone who is part of or seemed to be part of the Democratic apparatus, obviously why you left the Green Party and why you took money from is it Harlan?
Crow. and you sounded a little both sidesy in that Palestinian tweet. It was
Exactly.
a little bit both sidesy in there.
Exactly.
But yeah, Yipper, just real quick, it is true. Look, until they kicked me out the club, me, Obama, and Drake used to meet weekly, and we were we were this close. We were putting it together, and then I don't know exactly what happened, but I always find myself on the outside looking in at the end of the day. But we were this close, and that's when I said, you know what? I'm gonna just start rocking with Glenn and Bruce at Black Agenda and start hating on Drake. But I was trying.
Just killed your career with Obama.
I did. It was this close. We was in those meetings, and you know. All right, so listen, so by the way, so EYL tomorrow, Cornel West tomorrow, Claudia De La Cruz is coming back Saturday with me and Renee. What else is happening?
That's a lot right there.
But I think Jackie might be doing something. And is Ear Doctor coming back Sunday? I don't know.
I think there's another part 2 of Black Myths podcast on Friday.
I saw that. Yeah.
I didn't see yesterday yet, but I heard about it.
It was dope. And then, so it even made me repost Dev's discussion about Farha. So Dev is all over, Musa is all over BPM right now. He's all over, they're all over the most recents. But the Black Myths, they're sharp, man. It's some thinking going on. And then Musa, and I'm forgetting the other guest's name, but it was sharp. So all of this BPM is we kind of killing it with this Palestinian coverage. We kind of quietly. Coco broke the internet with hers. You know,
I was so surprised by the response to that, because sometimes I just don't be knowing. But I'm gonna have another show. I think on Tuesday I'm gonna try to I'm gonna discuss violence. I've been wanting to do this show since I was sick. I couldn't. So I'm just gonna discuss self-defense, self-determination, and the contradictions of calling it violence. And that's what I'm gonna try to do that. Yeah.
Right on. All right. Well, good people, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and make sure you read a book.
You just don't read, beloved.
It's my favorite. It's my new favorite.
That's a great clip.
That Beloved joint, I haven't heard that in so long. I don't hear it down here like that. I associate it with New York or that region up there. And when he said it, I was like, I'm clipping that immediately. I was like, I fell out. You don't read Beloved. Read Beloved. All right, peace, everybody. Only if you're willing to fight for it, like Fred Hampton used to say. Catch you
Free the land
all throughout BPM. Thanks, everybody.